We're grateful for the opportunity we have to meet together as a group. Heavenly Father, we pray that we'll be able to understand what we need to do and gain the understanding of what it is that we're supposed to learn from this and be able to grow and develop in our knowledge of this concept. Please help us to be able to be efficient, and we love thee and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
All right, we are started.
Fabulous, thank you. Okay, guys, so what are you thinking for our strategy to get what we want?
Well, first, I think we need to be positive and upbeat. I mean, it's in Baxter's best interest to maintain the good relationship between us and management. I would think that they would want to keep it that way.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So
plus, it just seems like it's in their best interest to use their workforce effectively, and that's not happening, and I think this is an opportunity for that to happen.
Right. Yeah, because I know they're going to come back and fight about, the wage, how everybody else is lower, but with us, we've been loyal the entire time from the beginning. So.
Well, and it's dangerous. The amount of injuries that we've had is insane. Like, I don't know how people would want to be working here for less if you're taking those kinds of risks.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think the first thing we need to negotiate is keeping the operations here and not just the top management. We can't have them leaving our town.
Yeah. Well, I do believe in the second reading they did decide to stay in town.
Well, we're not supposed to be to that point yet. So,
no, I'm talking about, did I read both on accident?
Yeah, so right now we're supposed to be, our number one thing is to keep the plant here, and and they can build a new one, but it needs to stay here, and that everybody who's working has an opportunity to work at the new plant, that they're not going to hire just a whole new shift.
Yes.
And then it's the wages.
Got it. Yeah, no, I agree, because if they don't keep it here, they're going to lose everything that they worked for, and for, the company's been, since 1933? Mm-hmm. And I think they need to keep the same values of what initially started.
Yeah, we've been working, my grandfather was still working, and my dad was working, and my mom was working in the office when I started. And so, this is what our family does.
Yep, that's right. We got to stick together. Okay, so what wage do we want to go for then?
I think I'm okay with keeping it around where it's at, maybe increasing it a little bit, but that's not as important to me as some other aspects of the hiring procedures and things like that.
Right, I agree. Okay. So was it the 1069?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we went up to like $11 maybe, just so.
Yeah, to make it
there's
even.
Some kind of increase.
Mm-hmm. Or even 1075. Yeah, I can see. With the 1075, I don't know what they're going to do, so we can see.
Well, I don't want them to feel like we're trying to take advantage of them, get everything that we can, because we know it's going to be expensive to build a new place, and things are getting tough in the economy, and I get that, but that doesn't mean that we have reduced what we've done and what we've given to this company and what we provide every day. So keeping it, maybe we might have to give some concessions in the wages. Obviously I don't want to have anything lower, but having some of the concessions of the double, the incentive work, we might have to reduce some of that in order to keep the building here.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if this would be super effective or not, but I know sometimes it helps to kind of, and it might be dishonest, I don't know, put in a few things that we know they're going to say no to, and we're okay with them saying no to, so that way we kind of
give them options
to say yes to some things. I don't know.
No, that's great.
How I've negotiated, maybe I'm dishonest, but...
No, that's a great idea. What do you guys think about that?
Well, that's what I mean when I say we might have to make some concessions. Let's go in positive and upbeat, and we're going to get the same thing. But if you're going to give away anything, I would say some of the incentives could go away. But I don't want to back down at all on the location of operations.
Right. No, I agree. Okay, so, well, right now we're going to be discussing wage is the first thing we're going to have to discuss. So, should we shoot for the $11 range first, and then if not, do the 1075?
Yeah.
And then worst case scenario, just stay where we're at, 1069?
Yeah, just so we have something to give up so that they know that we're willing to work with them and whatever we can do to keep them here, you know?
Okay.
What about the increase of cost of living?
Right. Well, that's
Are we going to agree to a freeze, or are we going to say insist on having the cost of living?
Well, because from what I understood from their reading, they're already well above
Yes.
what everyone else in the industry is paying.
Yes.
And so where they're already so far above, it didn't give any exact figures for what the industry is making. But
That's the part I'm saying that we could come in with being willing to concede. If we go in saying we still need a cost of living increase, tomatoes and milk prices are still going up. So that might be something that we could be more willing to let go if we were able to keep at least where we are, rather than reducing our wages. I don't want to see that at all.
Yeah, no.
okay.
Okay. So let me check and make sure she hasn't asked. Let me see here. No, nothing yet. Okay.
So, but we don't talk about any of the other stuff yet. We do that after.
Well, my understanding is we were supposed to read, there was 1978 and 1983. I believe we were supposed to read both of those, discuss the wage. That's why I was saying, we need to discuss everything, because then later we have to read the 1985 together.
Right.
Okay, but we are discussing
Right now,
the 1983 together.
yeah, well, it goes 78 and then 83, because they had already talked about in 83 that they did stay where they were at.
Okay, so you're saying that we need to go into the negotiation with the group as if it's 1983?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I think. Do you agree? Everybody else?
Yeah, I think that's what we should do, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was negotiating it like we were in
The beginning.
1978.
Yeah, the beginning. So,
Okay.
that's okay. Okay, so that's why I was saying we already know that they stayed.
Okay.
And then we know that they gave them the option of whether or not to move into the new facility or not. Remember, they gave them the option. It was up to you to choose to stay at the same level and then move over or what. But what's happening is everybody, the market crashed a little bit, and so everybody's bankrupting. And
Okay, so this is where they're putting in the escalating clause that they're saying it should go both ways.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so that's why I was saying we're at 1069 for our wage right now, and they're going to come back and want to lower it because everybody else is going bankrupt, everybody else is lowering their wages, they want to go back the other way to make up for it.
Okay, but everybody else is, but we aren't.
Right.
And so looking at that and why they feel that they need to reduce the wage when it's growing every year.
Right. Well, the economy crashed at that time.
But our company is growing
It's
every
growing.
year.
Yeah.
And we're getting more of the market.
Yep.
So the sales are increasing as well.
Exactly. So that's where Nick and I were saying, and Aaron were give them three options. Oh, Lisa's here. What do you guys want me to do? Hold on, let me answer her.
So from what I understand, the management wants to lower wages to keep production high, but production's already high in our company. We shouldn't be, I don't know, our wages shouldn't be changed based on what everyone else is doing just because everyone else is doing it, right?
Right.
Okay, you guys. Okay, it's her, so we need to figure out what we decide.
Well, I think the intention of that escalating rate, was the purpose of that was for increases, and to decrease it is a manipulation and twisting of words, and it's really uncouth.
Okay, so it's to increase only, not decrease. Okay, so we are at 1069. So bottom line, we are not lowering 1069. We would like to increase to 11. So I'm going to go for that. So I will be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so they have 20 minutes to do what they need to do.
Okay.
And I have some other schoolwork that I need to do, so I'm just going to mute my microphone and stay on,
Sounds good.
unless you guys need anything.
Okay.
I think we're good to mute.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute too.
Okay, I'm back. Oh my goodness. They are pushing to do 850 an hour.
What?
Yeah, and this is what they said. They're like threatening to do the Me Too clause, and right now she's saying that the highest that everybody's paying is $9 and the lowest is $6. So they were for sure like against going up to $11, and I'm trying to get us to stay at 1069, and they are like, no. They're like, we're going to be out of business in 10 years if we stay at 1069. We need to drop it to 850. Um, and that we need to escalate the increase. You know, I kept telling her we need to escalate the increase and we do not want to decrease. I said that's a slap in the face. When she said 850, I just started laughing because I was like, there's no way. And so I don't know. So I told her I need to speak with my associates, and I'm like, there's no way we're doing 850. So this is where we're at. So we need to go. We need, if she's going to call me back in about, what she say, at 9:40. So we can either read and figure out, we need to come back with something strong because they keep threatening with the Me Too clause.
Okay, so what do we do next?
Right. So it said, let me see, I'm over. Oh, wait, let me get into the other one. Well, we still haven't figured out a price. I mean, I thought that the whole thing was we need to have our price, our wage, but we haven't negotiated. Yeah, because it says
Yeah, you need to write down the number you agreed on.
yeah, and we haven't agreed.
Well, what's their justification for saying they're going to be out of business in 10 years when looking at the paperwork, it shows growth every year?
That's what I told her. And she said that everybody around them is losing business, they're bankrupting, and so we might go down with them.
Well,
But we're taking their business.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
If they're dropping out.
That's what I said. I said, we're gaining their business, we're gaining more clients, we're gaining more sales. And so I said, therefore, we need to keep it at the 1069. And she was like, no, well, if we have to, we will pull out the Me Too clause and da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, no. And so, and she said, because the rate we're going to be out of business in 10 years if we keep it at 1069. Because at first I started at 11. I'm like, we want an increase. We want 11, you know. And so then she was like, you know, going crazy. So I just went, okay. So I brought it back down. So I said, well, we're staying at what our wage is now. I said, we are not going to decrease. I said, there's no way. And so she's threatening, again, she just keeps threatening to do the Me Too clause at 850. And she goes,
so do we threaten to walk?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. That's what I said. Well, I'm going to have to talk to everybody because I'm like, 850.
What if we go down to like 1050 or the industry standard? Like, give a little bit, because we do have people that would willingly take our jobs with the market the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's just an idea. I don't know. We don't have to go with this, but if we roped incentive pay into our wage, so let's say we meet them at 950.
Okay.
So we take like over $1 an hour reduction, but we stipulate that the plant has to run at 80% of the current level, and anything above that we get a paid incentive for. So
Love it.
we could still make our 1069 an hour or more depending on what how we produce, but that way we're still coming down the way they see it, at least. Plus it gives us a little bit of control. That'll reduce injuries, that'll reduce fatigue and boost morale.
Right.
So that way we could pitch it to, you know, the workers that we represent as, okay, you're taking an hourly pay decrease in exchange for, you know, all these things we're going to be getting, and on top of that, you can still make your current wage if you produce more than 80%.
Well, I like that idea because I think this new facility is working above that anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
So we cut it from 100% to 80, which is a 20% reduction just in
Yeah.
like the speed of the plant.
Okay. I think that sounds brilliant.
Yeah, the 950.
I like that idea.
But
Good
what
job,
if
Nick.
okay, so what if they're sticklers though and they only want to stay at the 850?
then I think we could rope in layoff and hiring procedures and getting more control there.
And let's look at if the high for the industry is 950.
No, the
And
high is $9.
okay, the high is $9, but they're losing business, and we are working hard enough that we're keeping and growing the business. So our workers need to be, they need to show some gratitude and compensate for that.
Yep. Mhm.
Our production must be high enough to keep us in the black. So let's go.
Mhm.
Yeah, so okay, so if they won't budge on the 950 and we do 850, then just say we're gonna walk.
I don't know. Erin was trying to say something, and I interrupted her.
Oh, you're good. I think we say nine. Nine is our limit. Nine is, I think that's fair. We're top-notch quality, so we can get paid what that industry high is, but we don't have to get paid more than that.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I'd say come in at 950 and be willing to settle at 9. That meets them halfway between 850 and 950.
okay. So we still want the incentives. Okay. And if they don't budge, if they don't go for that,
I don't think we can walk. I think we're in a bad position to walk because there are tons of people that have gotten unemployed and they will take our position gladly.
okay, so if
Another thing that you might bring up is since they're threatening to walk on us or to basically fire us and hire new, is I looked up the average cost of training and recruiting a new employee,
yeah,
and it costs about 6 to 9 months according to the Society for Human Resources Management.
okay.
So them saying they're going to fire us and hire all new, well,
Mhm.
if they're paying them 850 an hour, they need to be prepared to pay a 9 month salary just to have them, you know, just to have them trained. Whether
Yeah,
that's administration fees or new training or mistakes that are made, they're going to pay for that. And so why not pay the employees that they already have on their payroll that they've already invested in?
right. Right. Okay. Whoa, what was that, Aaron?
Oh, sorry. My phone beeped at me.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go 950. If they don't budge, we'll go to the $9, but we still want the incentive after the 80%, after the companies reach 80%. If they still don't go for that, okay, so my question is, if they won't do the incentive, but they'll give us the 950, or do we want the 850 that they were offering, but then we want an incentive on top of that?
I think the incentive is good because we believe that we're going to get more business, right? So they're going to
Yeah,
have to run the place further,
yeah.
and so we'll get that money. And then if we don't, and they're complaining about bankruptcy, I think they'll like that idea.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, then let me go. Let's do it. Okay, I'll be right back then.
Good luck.
Thanks.
where is this Me Too clause that she's talking about? Why am I not?
It's
Is
in
it
the, I think it was in the 83.
okay? Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at 78. That's my problem. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for her because she just texted and said we need to fix on the price before we read the next thing. I'm like, yep. Okay, here she comes. All right, see you in a minute.
I need to step away just for a minute. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm here.
So we're supposed to pretend that we don't know what's gone on in 1985. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We are back. Okay, so this is what we agreed upon. So we got the $9 an hour with the incentive, with the profit incentive for 2 years. We're going to see how that goes for 2 years.
Okay.
Is that you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Okay. So, so now we got that. So she's coming back at 8:45, and what she's going to do is do a call for all of us to join the group together.
Okay.
Kind of like what we talked about.
So
Okay.
should we talk about what we want in layoff and hiring procedures, work rules?
Well,
that
what
kind
we
of thing?
need to do right now is we need to read. We need to read the 98, or I mean the 80.
85.
85, thank you, I'm sorry. The 85, we need to read that first, and then
Okay.
we got to negotiate. So let's, everybody pull that up on the 85, and then let's see.
Have we all read it?
No, I have not. I was trying to be good. I was going to, and then I was like, I can't.
No, I haven't read it. I thought that the 83 was the one. I thought there was just the 2 and not the 3. But
Yeah, we have the
Okay.
but I pulled it up and I've got it.
Okay, so Jennifer, will you start reading that aloud? You guys just want to read it aloud together, and just then we can discuss it?
Sure.
Okay.
So it is July 18th, 1985, exactly 1 month prior to the expiration of the contract established in 1978 labor agreement. In the 1981 wage negotiation between the International AFL-CIO and a number of the food processing companies, including Baxter, the base wage rate was frozen at $10.69. Following significant changes in the industry, wages were renegotiated at nearly all the food processing companies. In your 1983 negotiation with Baxter, wages were renegotiated and set at wage squared? Or
Yeah, it would be our $9.
Or $9 plus incentives. Okay.
Yep.
Since your last negotiation, relations between labor and management at the Deloitte plant have become increasingly acrimonious. Preliminary negotiations have produced no movement on either side's part and little evidence that an agreement will be reached soon. Both sides publicly acknowledge the likelihood of a strike when the current contract expires in August. You and the rest of Local 190 leadership have been vocal and clear about your no-concession stance. You have begun to prepare for a strike by getting finances in place and hiring a New York City public relations firm to tell I-90's side of the story, or 190's side of the story. In a show of no faith, management recently purchased $80,000 of barbed wire to circle the packing house, claiming it was needed for protection of the plant and its workers. Part of the current tension is due to the specific situation in Deloitte. but part is probably attributable to the climate of labor relations in general. Throughout the nation, industrial relations are in turmoil. Some have gone so far as to claim that this era will see the end of organized labor in the United States. You fear that they may be right, but hope that Local 190 may be able to stem the rising tide against unions across the country. On May 31st, 1985, Baxter Management announced that if the company and Local 190 have not come to an agreement by the expiration date of the current contract, it will terminate the current contract. Any employer in the United States has the right to terminate a contract when it expires, but few do so because of the negative impact on bargaining and the likelihood that such a move would precipitate a strike. Instead, most companies continue to honor the previous contract during contract negotiations. During the early 1980s, with its high unemployment and negative legal climate for labor, many unions have been reticent to strike, and companies are beginning to terminate contracts during bargaining whenever they perceive an advantage in doing so. Baxter's termination of the contract could have three important and very negative effects on Local 190. One, the 52-week layoff notice requirement would no longer be in place, and management could give layoff notices effective at the date of notice. Two, laid-off workers could lose their right of first refusal on any new jobs. And three, wages could be set at any rate determined by management.
Oof.
By law, if management terminates the contract, 190 can choose to either strike or work under the conditions specified in management's final offer before the contracted deadline. If you strike, Baxter can legally hire replacement workers. Operations at Baxter have seen some important changes since the end of your last negotiation. The new plant is operating efficiently and is viewed by many in the industry as the most efficient plant of its type in the world. In the old plant, a team of workers stuffed sausage into casings. In the new plant, one worker slips the casing over a spinning disc as the machine fills and cuts 25 sausages every minute. This is but one example, but the entire plant runs this way. A machine manned by one worker now accomplishes in 4 hours what used to take a group of workers a shift to complete. A computer monitors all the operations in the plant, calculating the most cost-efficient method of fitting production to the currently available supply of meats, vegetables, and other food products. It is obvious from looking at operations in the new plant and reading the company's financial reports that Baxter is doing well and can afford to treat its workers accordingly. For 2 years after the plant was built, Baxter provided attractive severance packages to motivate old employees to retire while they hired over 350 new employees each year. Because of the rapid rate of hiring, the new employees were trained on the line by others who were just learning the ropes in the new plant. This resulted in two unintended consequences. First, the new employees were quickly introduced to the real problems with the new plant rather than socialized or brainwashed by management trainers. Second, the rate of injuries in the new plant is significantly higher than that in the old plant and higher than the industry average. You are enraged about the injury rates. Injury records maintained by the company's own first aid logs show that the injury rate is 202 injuries per 100 employees. Management argues that this figure is exaggerated, though they admit that Deloitte has more workdays lost in injury than Baxter's other plants and than the industry average. Management claims most of the injuries result from the employees' inexperience with the different working patterns required by the up-to-date technology of the new facility. In response to your complaints about the dangerous working conditions in the new plant, the Human Resources Group has become involved, distributing a brochure on safety to each of the employees. The employees don't need safety brochures. What they need is to have speed of production slowed down, to have full voice in work rules so they can control how they work on the line. The workers are the ones who know what works and what doesn't. Management-mandated work rules and the speed of the line are the cause of the problem. The injury rate is not the only problem that has arisen due to the elimination of the production quotas and incentive plans in the 1978 contract. The employees are demoralized. For example, because the new lines run continuously, it is necessary that all stations be manned at all times. This, in turn, simply means that if an employee must leave the line, he or she needs to let a supervisor know so that a replacement can be called. It used to be that teams monitored themselves. Now there are supervisors everywhere, looking over everyone's shoulder. Management needs to realize that the old way worked. Employees know how to run the line better than any supervisor. One other point of friction is that employees in the new plant are working harder for less money. The incentive program has not been reinstated in spite of management's verbal commitment during the 1978 bargaining session that they would determine a new incentive plan when the new plant was fully operational. It is obvious now that they never had any intention of doing so. Though employees who were carried over from the old plant still receive money out of the escrow account to bring their take-home pay up to the level it was before the incentive program was eliminated, this only ensures that long-term employees can never get a raise. If wages increase, the money coming out of the escrow account decreases accordingly.
Oh, Lisa's calling me. Oh, she's calling all of us.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, I guess we should just join. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't read fast enough.
No, you're fine. You're fine. All right.
Do you want me to keep going and ask her to wait?
No, we can join. We can probably just finish it up. We're close. Well, what do we need to negotiate? That's what I'm thinking.
Well, it goes into the incentive program, the work rules, the laying off and hiring procedures, and the wages.
Yeah, it says you believe it is possible to negotiate a contract that will provide, I'm doing the summary,
Mhm.
workers with a safe work environment, a reasonable income, and job security. But if you cannot reach such a contract, you have decided to recommend to your members that they vote against the contract and strike. That's what I was going to ask you guys, so we're going to strike. In spite of all the rhetorical flying around and you hope you don't have to strike, it has been over 50 years since the last strike. This is a point of pride for both your members and Baxter's management, and both sides realize the potential cost of such a move. But a strike is better than agreeing to a contract that further erodes the benefits to your members. They voted you in on a platform of no concessions, and you intend to remain true to your pledge. You also believe strongly that the movement against labor in the United States has gone far enough. It's time that management and government come to realize that they can no longer profit at the expense of the common man. Okay, so I guess we're going on strike then.
Yeah, like if we can't get the wage they promised us with the incentive pay, plus control over layoff and hiring procedures, and at least a 50-50 control of work rules, then I think we need to strike.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yep, I know, I agree. There's no way. I mean, they're just beating us down like dogs, you know, and
Yep.
yeah, that's not fair. That's not right. We've given everything for this company, and we've worked, our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, you know, and we've made this company. We're the ones that have actually made this company. So without us, they wouldn't have gotten as far.
Okay, so I glanced through really quick on the layoffs and hiring. If they do layoffs, then the new hiring should be done off the layoff list. That's something we need to fight for.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think we need to keep the 52-week layoff notice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's something that.
The layoffs should be based off of seniority. So the people who have been there the least amount of time should get laid off before the people who have been there for 50 years, kind of thing.
Okay, so we're going to seniority on that. Okay, so we want the 52-week layoff to go in seniority. Okay. And then with the no transfer, remember they were talking about the no transfer, where you're not allowing people to transfer. What do you want to do about that? Because we have the wages still, and then the no transfer. They're trying to have no transfer when we, transfer within the companies.
They didn't want us to transfer.
Nope.
Well, are we looking to transfer anyway?
As long as they're taking care of us, I don't know if they're not transferring, but if they're going to be giving us a hard time, then
Well,
I don't want.
Or are they talking about transferring people in from the other facilities that?
Well, this is
that
what.
would-
Let me read. Okay, it says number 2 when we go back. It said laid off workers could lose the right of first refusal on any new job. So basically, we don't get the. I guess we don't get the transfer or the laid off. So this is the laid off. Sorry, not transfer. The laid off people don't get first right of refusal.
Well, they need that, I feel like,
Yeah.
because they're trained. That's who they would want, I would think, would be people who are already trained.
Yep. Okay, and then the wages, so 3, it says wages could be set at any rate determined by management.
What is that? No one wants to work under that.
No.
Yeah.
So that one's absolutely no. Nope. And if they say nope, then we're like, all right, we're striking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a main one. Okay, because then some of the things that when as Jen was reading, thank you so much, Jennifer, for reading that. It talked about being brainwashed and that the injury, like the people on the line don't know what the heck they're doing, so they're just kind of like brainwashing each other because they don't know what is going on, so they're just kind of going with the flow, I guess. And then the injuries are 202 over per 100, which is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's over 2 injuries per person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, so I guess this is what we can. And if you guys would love to chime in and get my back, I'm good for it.
Okay, so do we close this one down and go
Yes.
into our email and go to the new one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, guys. I'll see you
All right,
guys
we'll
later.
see you there.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.